What's poppin', beautiful people? Welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. Happy Tuesday if you are watching on the day that this video drops. Other than that, hello, good day, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. We're here to go over 90 Day The Single Life. This was the season finale. This was, the title of this episode was The Act of Making It Official. This season was dry. Now that we have officially gotten through, I can officially say, like, I genuinely feel like the single life in general is never too hype the way that 90 Day and the other franchises are. It's always a little milder, but still entertaining. But this particular season of the single life, I truly felt like it was pretty mid, pretty boring, if I'm being honest. I don't think they did a good job with casting. And I think a lot of the people ended up in a relationship when a lot of them needed to stay single. That's just my opinion. But tap in with the co-host, aka the people I co-host other shows with, also other artists that and creators that also review this show as well as other great shows. I'm also going to welcome in all of our new subscribers and anyone that is watching this video. I welcome you. I thank you. And I hope anybody that enjoys this content considers liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Let's get into this boring ass episode because I was like, not much happened for a finale. You expecting a finale to get like answers to the questions you've had throughout the season, like some type of resolve. And I just didn't feel like we got that. But we're going to start with Sophie. It's her last night in the Dominican Republic. And she is upset that Pedro is not talking to her. He's tired of playing her games. I'm not mad at Pedro for not engaging with Sophie's foolery. He's just now to a point where he's like, there's no point in talking. She's going to keep playing a game with him. And Sophie is unable to understand her wrong. I don't think she's very accountable, but she seems to feel like it's okay for her to be single. But it's like, Sophie, it's always been okay for you to be single, girlfriend. Like, nobody has stopped you from being single. Sophie just doesn't know how to send the correct signal. She sends mixed signals because it seemed like before she met up with Pedro, they were both describing it as like this whirlwind romance. Then she got to the DR and switched it up. I think Sophie, because she does give 304 now that she's gotten her body done, I think Sophie got to the DR and saw a lot of attractive men, probably just as attractive or more attractive than Pedro. And I think she wanted to taste them all, but couldn't. I just wish Sophie would have made it clear. She had the audacity to tell her pregnant friend that she expected for Pedro to say, when she explained to him that she kissed somebody else, she expected for Pedro to say, no, I want to be exclusive with you, Sophie. Don't kiss anybody else. And I'm like, Sophie, he tried to tell you that he would like to focus on just dating you and getting into a relationship. And you told him that it was too much too soon for you because you're not ready for a relationship. So if you're not ready for a relationship and you say it was too much too soon, then why the hell did you expect and want for him to tell you not to kiss anybody else? He's done because he's looking for something different from you. I don't like that Sophie's one of those women that just wants everything to go her way. She wants control. She wants to flip, flop, double dutch, all sorts of crazy stuff. And she thinks that she could just go back to people. You cannot just go back to people after you have done them wrong. Like, it does not work that way. It just doesn't. But per usual, Sophie doesn't take accountability. Her friends are not going to hold her accountable. She is the problem. Nobody could tell me different. Now, I'm not speaking to her relationship with Rob. I think Rob was more wrong in that situation, but I also feel like Sophie is problematic as well. Now, Pedro ends up leaving the Dominican Republic. He makes it clear he's done with the games with Sophie. I do think he has a right to accept, and he takes his narrow behind back to the States where he belongs to sell real estate. Good for you, Pedro. I was happy to see Pedro walk away. Listen, I didn't like how Pedro did Chantel. I didn't like how he handled his family. I don't like how he handles his family based on what we saw this season. But outside of Pedro's family, he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. He just doesn't. He's in America. He got his citizenship. His marriage didn't work out. He's not dragging Chantel through the mud. It doesn't seem, at least not anymore. And he's living his life and Chantel's living her life. Like, they are separate. So You know, I wish Pedro well, and I hope he does find someone. I do. Liz and Via, they also finally end things. Liz told Via literally toward the end of the trip that she had another man back home. She feels like she had a connection with Via, but she ends things with him because she got a man at home. Liz. And we know in today's time, Liz is engaged, but I'm just kind of like, Liz, really? Like, Liz is up and down, up and down. But at least Liz was honest, something that Sophie seemed to really struggle with. But let me know how you felt about Liz, Pedro, Via, Sophie, and oh girl who's pregnant. I was not impressed. 90 Day really promoted before this season aired this whole, romance with Pedro and Sophie, and it went nowhere. It was not entertaining. All this season made me do was dislike Sophie, which I never had an issue with her before. So I don't know. I'm curious to see. Maybe the tell-all will be more interesting than the season for these people. But we're going to get into Courtney and Phil. Courtney and Phil are ready to put Colt the heck out. And I don't blame them. I think it was foolish for Courtney to ever even try to involve Colt in her new relationship. I think that's messy. But, hey, some people like messiness. But they ready to put Colt's nasty ass out. And they go and talk to him. He's outside disgustingly sunbathing. And she brings him some charcuterie. Ooh, I could not say that word for the life of me just now. And she lets Colt know that it's time for him to move out. And he's like, oh, this talk. And, Courtney's like, yeah, Colt, it's going to be time to go. And Colt kind of accepts it. And then she's like, we're not rushing you out, but it's time for you to move. And then Phil chimed in, and Phil was like, yeah, we'll give you a few days. That was the funniest thing, because she was like, we'll give you time. We're not pushing you out. And Phil politely just, yeah, you have a few days. Get the hell out of my house. Phil was not playing. And I was here for it. I was here for it because that's weird and that's ridiculous. And it was nice of Phil to even be willing to take him in. But I would have let Colt's ass stay at the Motel 6 or the Best Western or wherever he was at. Let him go back to Diana. Like, the fact that he doesn't even have it within his brain to act right while he's injured means that he just don't care. He gonna do what he do. But she tells Colt that she's going to cut communication with him once he moves out. He says that it stings, says that he thought she was his ride or die, but that, he will accept it. And I did agree with Courtney. Colt is a leech. Like, he just wants to get and get and get from her. And the longer she helps him, the longer he's going to, continue asking her for help. I truly do believe that. So I think they make the right decision. But we later see that Colt did eventually move out. Courtney has fully blocked him, so he has no way of communicating with her. She doesn't know where he's at. And things have been going extremely well with her and Phil. They are 3 months in. They go out to dinner and he proposes. I feel like Courtney gave up, and that's why she was okay to date this older man. But it seems like Phil is willing to give Courtney all of the things that she needs, wants, and requires. And it seems like Courtney is at a point where she's just like tired of dealing with men. She has had a really bad ride when it comes to men. So I do understand her getting tired. And I know some people like to say, like, oh, just go date women. Like, if you truly are straight, you're not going to want to do that. So she went in a direction that she went, and that was an older man. I'd rather her go older than younger. They've only been together 3 months, so I feel like it's too soon to judge a relationship. I do think it's too soon for a proposal, but I don't know what it is about Courtney. I like her, so I wish her the best, and I do hope that it works out. And Courtney, do something about that man drinking a 12-pack of soda every day. He's 66. That can't be good. His luck will run out. Please. But we're going to wish them the best. Maybe she'll have something interesting for the tell-all. It was a weird season with Courtney and Colt. That was an odd pairing. I didn't enjoy seeing it at all. But beautiful people, we're going to get into Tony and Vanya, who are visiting his parents' house. She explained that Yugoslavian war, she is a war survivor. The war was over religion. Because of it, she has a bad relationship with religion. And she's meeting Tony's parents, who are very religious and heavy in the church. So the parents figure out pretty quick that she's not religious. She acted like it was a big thing because they asked her to attend church. And I was like, Vanya, just say, no, I respect church. I don't have an issue, but, due to my background in religion, like I'm not comfortable with going. Like that's all she had to say. But I think that it probably triggers her when she talks about it, which I can imagine. But I was happy that she did at the very least explain her background and why she is the way she is with religion to his parents. I think that was important. I was glad that she did that. His parents are just really sweet. Even when Vanya was like a little closed off, and sometimes I feel like Vanya is the type of person who looks for a problem, even when there's not one. But the parents were just super genuine. They were super kind. And the meeting with them went pretty well. Now, they did say to the camera that they don't see her lasting with Tony long term. Nobody sees Vanya and Tony lasting long term. The only person who seemed to think that was Vanya, because I don't even think Tony treats her like the type of girlfriend he expects to last. Like, I really don't. And I still think his jealousy is because of his actions, but we can't prove that because he ain't the star of the show. So I got to digress there. But after the parents leave their house, Tony gives her a box. It looks like a little jewelry box. But when Vanya opens the box and it's shaped like a heart, it's a key. It's a gold Home Depot copy of a key to his house. And I was like, okay, a key to the house is cool. But then he also asked her to move in together, which I'm like, wait, what? Okay, the key to the house would have been good because then it's like, okay, she can come in when you would like. She can do a lot. But I don't know. I felt like asking her to move in. Personally, I just feel like it's too early. And I think that I don't understand Tony. Like he had such reluctance to get into this relationship. And now he's skipping so many steps to move in with her. And I'm like, why are you doing this if you guys can't even get along on her first trip? Like, why are you doing this? Doesn't make any sense. But Vanya is more upset because she was like, I thought it was a ring, which I think it's too soon to propose. But if it's too soon to propose, it's probably too soon to move in together, in my opinion. And I do agree with Vanya. Like, if we are going to move fast, can we move fast in the correct order? Can I get a ring and then we move in together? Like, a ring doesn't mean you have to get married tomorrow. Like, you could still stay together. But I just felt like that was odd. I felt like it was extremely odd. Something just feels off with this couple. But Tony ends up taking Vanya later on in the episode to view houses. They viewed this beautiful house. We know that Vanya is extremely independent and successful. And Tony, I believe he's a doctor of some sort, so I'm sure he's successful. They're looking at this beautiful house on the ocean. And, being a Californian, when you live somewhere susceptible to natural disasters, you don't just look at houses and be like, oh, this is beautiful. I'd love to have it. It's on the water. I'm thinking of how much the cost for insurance for hurricanes is going to be and flooding and things like that. Like, I'm sure the premiums are crazy, but they're looking at this beautiful home on the beach. And Vanya talks to him and she's like, do you really think we should be buying a home together if we're not even engaged? Like, I don't want to make these big steps without having some form of commitment that shows we're going to do something. And Tony's just reluctant to want to propose or even do that. And in my opinion, he does send mixed signals. And we last see them on the beach together with Vanya saying that this is not the relationship for her. But then I also saw a preview at the tell-all showing that she's still in a relationship with him. So I'm like, Vanya, girl, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your own time? Like, it's clear that you want different things from him. Your timeline, you can't expect people to do stuff the way you want. No. But the expectation of a ring before you move in, that's fair. Vanya was realistic in that. And she should be confident in that. And I don't think that Tony's the person for her. I really don't. I think Vanya should freeze her eggs and take her time dating. Because she does seem like a nice lady, but I feel like she's rushing. And she needs to just take her time. Go freeze your eggs if family is the problem. Please, Vanya. But we'll see what happens with them next week. We're going to go over Gino. Not much with Gino happened this episode. He met a woman online named Lexi. He's proud of himself for walking away from Natalie. And I'm just like, Gino's doing everything but filing for divorce. But we did get to see him in this episode meet with a divorce attorney because he does feel like it's time for him to finally file for divorce from Jasmine. And he goes on a date with Lexi, who is 26 years younger than him. I recently was watching some old clips of 90 Day with Gino and Jasmine, and I was like, this is why I don't like you. I couldn't remember, and I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt all season, but Gino was terrible. Jasmine was annoying too, but Gino was terrible. Listen, Gino, 26 years younger, that reflects negatively on you, not that young lady. I see why they brought Jasmine to the reunion. Maybe they brought Jasmine to the reunion in hopes that she could help this young lady, but all I could do with Gino is wish him the best. I didn't care to watch Gino. He's kind of boring. That's just me. I feel like Gino and Jasmine definitely need a 90-day break. Gino, Jasmine, Stacey, Darcy, Jamal, a little bit of Kim. Like, they need a 90-day break. I feel like I see them everywhere. The last couple we're going to get into for the finale, you guys, is Kim and Jamal. So they are in the UK. And they are meeting Wayne and his daughters. It was a nice meeting. I appreciated the daughters telling Kim some red flags, which included that Wayne is not good with baggage and has a habit of looking for something wrong and a reason to exit the relationship. Seems like commitment problems. But everything goes well meeting the daughter. And then after that event, Kim comes to his house the next day. And he has this picture that he had drawn of Kim and Jamal. Interesting art, to say the least, but it was a nice gesture. And he cooks Kim a Jamaican meal that his mother used to cook for him, which I thought was nice. I love that he knows how to cook a meal, even just a meal. It matters. But there were some red flags that I saw. So like they sit down and talk, and Kim's like, so how do you feel? Do you want to keep doing the long distance thing? And Wayne gets weird and he's like, I don't want to put any labels on it. I'm like, what? You don't want to put any labels on it? Why not? Like, I have questions because I'm like, this lady has flown all the way across the world to see you. You've just introduced her to your children. And now you're saying that you don't want to put labels on things. Kim accepts it because she doesn't want to run him off. And then she starts crying and tells him that she has 2 children that she put up for adoption. One of them has located her and she's looking for the other one. Now, Wayne was oddly extremely understanding. He says he feels no different about her. You feel no different about her because you're not too interested, bro? Or you feel no different about her because you don't view adoption from an ignorant mindset like most Americans? Like, which one is it? I just need to know. I just need to know. But he's like, I don't feel any differently about Kimberly. I loved it. I loved it because I like Kim, and I would have hated to see her get crushed and kind of kicked when she's already down. She's very emotional about what she did for her children. But listen, I never fault people who put their kids up for adoption. Now, it's crazy that you did this 2 years in a row, Kim. You could have got on some birth control. But at the end of the day, you did what was best for those children because you knew that you would not be able to raise them. And Jamal doesn't have a father. So that would have been 2 more kids that didn't have a father. At least these kids were able to get a stable, childhood with a mother and a father and a Christmas and not a traveling parent in the military. And that's no pun intended or no shade towards parents that are in the military, because there's a lot of them who still love on their kids appropriately. But if you can offer them something that you can't give them, which Kim said she could not give them, then I don't see the problem. So good for her and good for Wayne for not giving her hell. But I still can't help but feel like I don't know how interested he is in her. But basically, they make peace with all of that. The next day comes. It's Kim's last day in the UK. I feel like Wayne is difficult to read, but it's giving friendship a little bit. I feel like Kim is so friendly that she probably struggles with getting friend zoned a lot. Like, she's friendly as hell, easy to get to know. She really seems extroverted. And I feel like sometimes that's a blessing and a curse because you're friend zoning yourself. You know what I mean? So I wish Kim the best. He walks her out for her and Jamal to take their taxi to the airport. And, You know, he opens the door, gets her bags, and she's like, "It's nice when you're dating someone. Is this just how you are when you date someone?" He corrected her and was like, "I'm seeing you. We're not dating. We're seeing each other." And she's like, "Oh my God." And I'm kind of like, is that Wayne's way of saying, like, homegirl, you about to fly back to America and I'm about to be flying from Manchester to London? Like, is that what we're doing, Wayne? Like, it's weird, but Wayne is just difficult to read. Either way, he was kind to Kim. They did leave on good terms. And I'm curious to see if they still talk at the tell-all. I'm curious to see, because Kim is one of those 90-Day Fiance people that does good at not dropping all the tea, in my opinion, compared to the others. So we will see. But a big shout out to everybody for watching these reviews that I have done. I will be covering the tell-all next week. If you are someone who's been watching these reviews, let me know if you guys would like me to cover the tell-all in a live stream. I'm totally willing to do that. If not, I can also just upload it regularly like this, or I could do a premiere where we can interact in the chat. Let me know what you guys are interested in. But I really appreciate everybody for being supportive of these 90-Day Fiance reviews. As you know, I am covering 90-Day Fiance. I do those reviews on Mondays. I will put the season 12 premiere review of 90-Day Fiance. It should pop up on your screen toward the end of this video. Other than that, I'm going to be replacing this slot with some documentary reviews. I'm also going to replace this slot on Tuesdays. I'm going to start doing some short live streams where we just discuss pop culture and what's going on with the reality stars and stuff of our shows we cover. And then there's a Bravo show that's called In the City that is new, and it's going to be premiering on May the 19th. I'll be covering that as well. So I hope that everybody enjoys their day. I really appreciate you guys for supporting these reviews. Other than that, y'all, I will see you beautiful people for the next one. Have a good day.